Hey everybody, this is Al with El Rey Collection. Hope everybody's having a great day and a great Thanksgiving extended holiday if you're here in the U.S. This is going to be kind of a new type of video for me. I haven't done one of those, but on one of my recent lives, look, I'm repping the PSA hat here, since this is mostly a PSA video about a return. This I'll do kind of at the end. But the genesis of this was on one of my recent lives. Some people recommended that I kind of show some guesses of what a recent submission was. I have lots of submissions all the times to, well, let's be honest, mostly PSA and SGC, a few to CSG, but most of my submissions are PSA or SGC. But anyway, let's, I thought it was a good idea. I realized a few things while I was doing this, kind of about vintage in general. And, I think that, hopefully you can get some insight to my thoughts as well as ask any questions as we go. And maybe you see something different than I see. Hey, Jose Roberto Inés, nice to hear from you. See you here again. So I guess I'll just start. Let me change this so you don't have to see my face. You can see the slides a lot bigger. That will make it nice. And we'll come back and dump the slides when I'm done to see what's in this little box here at the end, the little sweetener. For those of you that are not subscribed, I'd love if you could survive. Doesn't cost you anything. Just subscribe to the video. And if you hit a like, I'd really appreciate it. It helps the algorithms here and helps me motivate to keep doing some videos. So without further ado, let's look at this submission. So this submission, just to give the high level, was the regular submissions. So that is, basically between the actual fee is like $80, I think, per card, and the value is like $1,500. So most of these cards are kind of in that range, maybe slightly more, slightly less, but generally in that range. And so it's a 35 card total submission. It includes cards that are not mine, that are some of my colleagues and collecting friends. So we'll go through those cards, and I try to be as objective as possible with all cards. Some were previously graded by PSA, by SGC, and have been cracked out. And I'll show you those slab tags like these, which I keep track of these, and in many cases I'll actually this is a baseball card, but in many cases what I'll do is I'll have the cards here in a new PSA holder like this one, and then the back I'll have an SGC slab. So in this particular case, PSA graded this a 4, if you can see, and SGC also graded it a 4. I don't know if that adds value to anyone. It's just kind of nice for me to know, going forward. So without further ado, let's kind of get into it and see what we have here in terms of these these submissions. So the the first ones that I have here, and I'm going to show you. I tried to find a way to kind of do this. What I did is I scanned the front of 6 cards and the back of 6 cards. Okay. And so these cards actually are not mine. These are a colleague's. And what I did is I looked at these cards and I said, okay, what do I think these would grade at, and why specifically? And so, the very first one is probably one of the more elite cards in pre-war Argentina stuff. And I just realized that my fonts here didn't translate well when I imported this to StreamYard. I had kind of this cool font going on, but this looks kind of lame. And this PSA, I'm just noticing. Well, whatever. You get the sense for it. I wish you could see the actual one, because I thought that was pretty cool font, but I guess it's not supported by StreamYard. Actually, this may have happened before. I just never noticed. So here you have this Luis Monti card, and this I believe was previously graded as PSA as SGC. But you can see it's got a very clean back. There's no damage on it, unlike the one right next to it that has some foxing and a huge part of the text taken out. So, you know, I think on these, and these are both Luis Monti cards. He has a couple of different cards in the set. So I think this one's going to get a 1.5. There is, you know, some creasing on the card. You can't tell from the scan, but it's really, really nice. You know, obviously some of these edges you can see around here, this white, this is going to drop the grade. So between the creasing, but I mean, eye appeal significantly better than a 1.5. But I think from a technical perspective, it's going to get a 1.5. This one next to it, again, you can look at the back here. That makes you, it's either going to be a PSA 1, which I'm hopeful that it will be. It could get an A. I don't think this one will, because most of the A's that I see, which is authentic or authentic altered, they need to be really thin or have a hole, like almost translucent, to get an A. So I think this one's going to skate by with a PSA 1. Of course, you know, this to me is slightly rarer than this one. So I'm not sure if you guys can see my cursor or not. Can somebody let me know if you can see my cursor? But this one here, the one where it's farther away, the farther away projection isn't nearly you know, a nice shape as the one where he's with his arms crossed. So anyway, that's my guess. It's going to be a 1 here, and that's why. Now these really, really tough. The PSA hasn't graded these, and I hope that they do grade these. This is from the Figuritas Olympia, you know, set, and this is a Rossi and a Ramos here. And you know, I think I looked at these carefully, looked at them in relationship to some of my other SGC ones. These have never been stuck, so you can see the blank backs on the back. There's a little bit of toning here. These are you know, a little bit of toning here. I think that in general they've never been stuck, so I believe that these are going to get pretty high grades for vintage stuff out of Argentina. I think this will be a 3 and this will be a 5. So those would both be, first of all, they've never graded the set, so they may not grade them at all, even though they're in Rafael Bitran's book. But I'm just not sure if they're going to feel weird about encapsulating these triangular cards, which are absolutely beautiful, by the way. And if they do, I think these are going to get really high grades. I wouldn't be surprised if I'm low on this, but I also think there's some edge chipping here on this one, and they may ultimately, you know, downgrade it for that, especially if it's the first ones being graded. So yeah, peeps, these are incredible cards. These are not mine, by the way. I'm grading these for a friend out of Argentina. And so where did I find these? My friend sent them to me. You'll see I have some other similar cards in my own collection. But I do think that those are going to end up being pretty high. Another ones that have never been stuck, which if you think about this is crazy. These are the 2 Maradona cards from 1981. I feel, you know, these are right out of the pack. The pack has a long strip, and you punch out to, you know, these little things. You can see these notches here. Hopefully you can see these little notches on the sides. And these little notches show where it gets punched out of the cardboard holder that is actually rectangular and has 2 of these cards on it. And so I don't know how PSA is going to look at these. I felt like one was a 3 and one was a 4. Again, these are right out of the pack. Never been you know, stuck. So I think they have a good chance. I wouldn't be surprised if they go a little bit higher here, but you know, they're pretty hard on these irregular shaped cards, and so that's why I think we're going to get a 3 or a 4. It goes with, you know, one thing that I was going to say is that, you know, I'm really not great about my judging on how PSA grades a card. There's a lot of variability, both on the upside and the downside to what I expect versus what I get. And this will actually prove out to see kind of where we are when I get this submission back, which hopefully happens in the next couple of weeks. This order is currently in assembly, so I haven't seen the grades. So this is it's taken a while. It's actually been there, for a little less than a month, and usually they have 2-week service. So a little disappointed here in the service level on this order, but there are some really cool cards and some that have never been graded. So I need to be somewhat flexible there. So these Maradonas, I expect this is the 81, really cool card. So you come in a 3 and a 4. The next set here, a bunch of Maradona 78 rookies. Again, this is from an Argentine collector. These are not mine. And so there's 5 different ones. I looked at these carefully in terms of centering. You can see this one in the middle here is completely off center. So that may get an MC qualification. I'm going to guess it just gets a straight up 3 on that. This one is really nicely centered. And these are like right out of packs, haven't been stuck. So none of these are stuck. Take a look at the backs. This one kind of went off the screen a little bit. Sorry for that, but you got to trust me. These don't have like glue residue or anything on them. So I'm thinking we're going to get 1, 2, and 3 3s and a 4, which are pretty high grades. I mean, most of these don't grade at a 3 or higher because most of them have been stuck. This PSA 2 could also be a PSA 4 MC. A PSA, I generally look at qualifications as a 2-grade deduct, so I wouldn't be surprised. They're trying to get away from using qualifiers, so I wouldn't. I'm guessing they're going to give it a 2, but this one's so off center that they'll either give it the OC or they'll give it an MC, which is off center qualification or miscut qualification. On these, when you're looking for these, pay careful attention to the borders. There's been a lot of, many people, or not many, but some dubious individuals may want to slice this down here on the fat corners to make it look more balanced. That's trimming the card and should be graded as an authentic. Now, that said, there is a lot of variability in the size of these cards that I've seen right out of the packets, but it's going to be fun to see this 5-pack. It's possible this 4 gets a 5. Even a 6 is not outside of the possibility. I just felt like the corners, which are hard to see here, were a little soft. And these guys, PSA is brutal with this. I think the highest grade, maybe it's not a 6, but for a long time it was a 6, and a 6 sold for $100,000. So I'm doubting that it's going to be that high, but these are going to be really, really fun. So these are not Seb. So yeah, I do. Those aren't none of these cards here are mine. I'm submitting these for a friend, and they're on my submission. So you cannot have the other one. I can put you in contact, but I'm pretty sure the answer there is going to be a no. But thanks for asking. It is the season of giving, and so Enzo Ferrari can come my way too if you'd like. Back to this submission. I think. Here's this coin, which is what, 1971 Chapitas. It's a Pele coin. It's hard to see here. Without a doubt, absolutely worth a shot. You never get a yes from a question you don't ask. So worth a shot. Props to say. This is 71 Chapitas. I think the highest is a PSA 4. So here I'm forecasting that they're going to this is actually going to be the highest graded. You can see on that unexciting back here, it's pure metal, and these are actually manufacturing lines, so I don't think they're going to get downgraded for this, and I think this is going to be a 4, which would be the highest graded. Still probably not a $1,500 card here, but it was in this group, and sometimes it's just easier to send along lower value ones in a submission than segueing them out and worry about the shipping there and the shipping back and all that type of stuff. All right, so here on to the next one. So now we get those were all other again a friend's submission. So there was 12 of those. Now we'll get into my part of the submission, which I decided to cross a lot of Eusebio stickers to PSA. I have a lot of these were in SGC holders. You can see 1.5s. And this was another kind of realization that I had. as I was just going through this broadly, is that, man, grades don't really matter that much in vintage, or surely not nearly as much as they do in modern or ultra modern, because these are absolutely crazy amazing stickers. And because of the way they were distributed in Portugal, they were all like kind of like balled up in a caramel. They all have massive amounts of creasing because they were folded. Now you don't appreciate that fully here on the front, but look at this scan that I took of the backs. So here, hopefully you can tell, I tried to get as much of this as possible. And again, I don't know if you guys can see my cursor. I'm assuming you can, and if so, this is way more helpful. But you can see right across Eusebio's head in both of these on the bottom, which are probably easier to see. There's this line, which is a fold, and then there's another fold right around his chin, and there's another fold right around his chest. Now, when you're looking at the fronts, you don't really appreciate that. You're like, wow, that's a great looking sticker. It is. But on close examination, when you look at these things, they're kind of like super thin waxy paper, and then there's some creases that go through them that you don't really appreciate here. But obviously with that type of folding and distribution, you're never going to get more than a 2 regardless. So all of these are going to be somewhere between a 1 and a 2, and I think this one's going to be a 1. You can see on the back because it's got extra crinkling, right? And this one was definitely removed. And then on these other ones, you just got a tremendous amount of crinkling. It really gives you a really low ceiling on these, even though the eye appeal is substantially better. So these all 6, and these are like all 62. Like for instance, this one here, SGC puts it 61, 62, A Francesa. It's actually a 62, 63, but these are all rookie material, right? So this is pretty interesting stuff, just from a collection perspective. I think a couple of these, I have a chance, these 3, I have a chance to get a PSA 2, which is probably where the top would be on this. And then the other ones, I think, are going to get 1.5s because the fronts are absolutely amazing. But when you look carefully under magnification, you'll see all sorts of creases. Hey, John, nice to see you. Hello from the U.S. And thanks for tuning in from the UK. So anyway, these are 6 Eusebios that I think are all going to get top out at a 2. You can see a number of them are graded by SGC, and they kind of ended up in the same location. I think this one will be hurt by PSA. It will go from a 1.5 down to a 1. This one I think will go up from a 1.5 to a 2. I think this one will stay the same. What was this one? I can't really. Oh, this was a 1.5. I think PSA will upgrade that to a 2. And then this one was, I can't see the sticker on that. Probably a 1.5. I think they're going to give it. So I'm expecting some bumps from these when you look at them, just because the eye appeal is amazing. But, again, it'll be somewhere between 1 to 2, and just hoping to avoid the dreaded A, which, PSA's been giving me a few of these lazy A's too. So let's see here. So let's go on from the Eusebios. And then we're back into this. So here are some, so those are going to be fun to see those come back. And then here are some of mine. So there's some pretty big, things that I'm doing here. I crack some instead of, I have terrible luck when I send relatively high grade items into PSA in existing holders. So what I did here is I cracked a couple. This Orsi, oh, you can't see the thing, I think was a PSA, I mean, a SGC 3.5. Let me see if I have it on the next slide. Unfortunately, it got cut off on my scan. Did not notice that. But so I think this is a 3.5. I think I get a slight downgrade. Look at, it's just these tips on the corner. Like really, and the back is like super clean. Look at this. It's like unbelievable. Probably my best Plus Ultra Argentine card that I had there. And then I think this Monty will get a PSA 2. It may get the MK designation because of this red spot of ink that's on the back. But look at that back, also super clean. So this red spot is something that I think is going to keep it down. So it may be a 2 MK. I'm hoping they just give it a 2. All sorts of chipping around the edges, something you don't see on the Orsi here. And then one of the cooler dollar cards are these cards that were made for the Olympics. And I think this one was in an SGC 2.5. And I think it's going to cross more or less at that. You can see here, or I hope you can see up at the corner, there's a little bit of residue of something. It hasn't been stuck, but it's, probably a cigarette at the top kind of rubbed against it. So you get this darkness and some material kind of embedded in the upper left corner. So there's that one. And then you get this really fun early Eusebio, which I think is going to end up being, it was an SGC 1. I think PSA is going to give it a 2. I'm kind of wishful thinking here as well. Here's a beautiful, I looked at the sticker for a long time. SGC gave this a 7. I'm going to guess that this gets a PSA 8, which would be huge for the sticker. It's absolutely beautiful. The centering is like spot on. I see nothing wrong with this. The corners are sharp, and this is with the Velita back. So this would actually be kind of a huge sticker. This, which is a PSA 6, an SGC 6, is off center. It's got some soft nicks on the corner. I'm guessing PSA is going to downgrade this and give this a 5. So yeah. So there is. So here, I don't know. Hey peeps, I don't know which one you're. Oh yeah, this you're referring to this one here. Yeah, this one is just going to be. This is incredible. I mean, if you saw this card in person, this is just. I looked at this card for a good 20 minutes under a 10x loop, and there's nothing wrong with this card. So that's why I had the guts to crack out an SGC 7 and send it, which takes a lot of guts to do that. And then this Monte with the frame, this is from the 28 version. It's just, yeah, I agree, Seth. This is just beautiful. So yeah, these are really fun cards. I can't wait to get these back, but certainly they should be coming back, you would guess, next week or the week after that. So yeah, these are cool. And then this, by the way, you see the silhouette of Eusebio here. That's not like staining or anything. That's just how thin these Portuguese stickers are. So keep that in mind when you're getting them. But I gotta tell you, these 60s stickers are just awesome. All right, now back to okay, hang on, I got a question here. Why is the crack SGC 6? Let me see. The crack. Which crack? Oops, I keep going forward. I don't know, which card is this, peeps, you're referring to? Because I don't have any as a. Oh, I think you're talking about this other Eusebio. Maybe this one. Yeah. So I think this. Yeah. Why was I curious? I just wanted to see how they would grade them, and so I have. There's also a registry that is done on the Eusebio rookies that I'm trying to do, and instead of going out and buying a PSA blank back, I figured I'd just crack mine. I could get. Again, I'm super inconsistent in my estimation, so it's entirely possible they give it a 6 or a 7, in which case it would be worth it. I did consider when I looked at it not cracking it and just leaving it in, but instead of, I didn't have this one on the registry, so I just decided I'd move it over. Not something I would typically do if I wasn't doing a registry set. especially if I thought I was going to get a downgrade. But that's a good question. When you said crack, I thought you were talking about the Argentine crack cards, which are the Maradonas up top, and so I got a little confused there. So sorry about that. Yeah, so that's and literally, I usually wouldn't do that anyway. You know, especially if I thought I was going to get a downgrade. But in this particular case, I was sending a lot. There's a lot of Eusebio stuff, so I just figured I'd do it in one fall swoop, so to speak. Okay, so on to this next one. So here was another Eusebio. I think this one's going to get a 1.5. It has worse centering than the other one. Same issue on the back. This is a PSA 1. I guess you guys can't see this in the conversion of the file. I love this Vigor y Desporto card. This is amazing. It looks a little washed out here, but such an amazing card with the big football. And this blue here is awesome. This is a Fangio Pony card. It's actually it's larger than a typical disc. I think this is going to get a PSA 2, but let's see. And then here's a couple from 1960, which is Arquero, which is made by it's actually done by the Crack partners. And so PSA hasn't graded these as yet. I think they've been really hard on the MC designations on discs. If it's slightly off, they're giving it the MC. Both of these have, this one I think was stuck. This one was never stuck. So I think we're going to see a 5 MC on the Di Stefano. And then I think we're going to see a PSA 2 on the Pele. They may decide not to grade these, although I thought I sent all the information they need to grade them. So let's see. So here you can, oh, did I not? Oh, sorry guys, I didn't have the backs on these, but the good news is they're all blank backs. So you weren't going to see much anyway, and we've already seen the crinkled backs of these. Sorry, I guess I missed to import a slide. So here for the pre-modern fans, you know, this was super interesting. And again, I don't know what this has kind of in store. So I looked, again, I spent a lot of time looking at these Zidane rookies that I had. And I actually compared them. I have a number of PSA copies as well. And I just really think this 6 was like severely undergraded by SGC. And I think it gets bumped to a 7, which honestly would be iconic. I'd probably get an upcharge too. And then this 5.5, I saw kind of a surface dimple looking at this under 10X. And I thought, you know, PSA is brutal with surface issues. So I wouldn't be shocked. In fact, I'm mentally prepared for this to take a 2 grade decrease. Is that what I hope happens? No. I hope it ends up being at least, 4 or 5. It's a 5.5 right now. The centering is spot on. The colors are amazing. There's one corner that has a slight little bend to it. It's not like a fold. It's not a crease. It's just a bend, which happens with some of these stickers. And so I believe that, you know, the grader's going to have a bad lunch hour and come back and beat the shit out of him as Zidane. And after he does that, he's going to look at the next one and say, wow, this one's really good. It's always been a big question for me to send in multiples of the same sticker. There's no real rhyme or reason. Sometimes they differentiate dramatically between copies, especially when they're seeing one right after another. And then sometimes they lump them together. So I don't have a specific recommendation on, hey, send 10 copies of this and you're going to get some high grade ones and some low grade ones, or only send one and then send one in the next order. You know, I don't really have a good guess on those. I'd say the 2 times I sent, you know, more than 5 of each one was the Cruyff, Palarex, and the Maradona 77, and I didn't love the results in either one of those, to be honest. So, but here, you know, I looked at these and I said, hey, you know, I'm trying to put together a run of Zidane rookies. I have a 8 and 9 and a 6, I think. So if I get a 7, that'd be fun. If this one ends up being a 4 or a 5, that'd be fun. It just takes them off the list of ones I ultimately want to get. Yeah, so yeah, I think this is, and Bill and I talked about this on our premium yesterday. This is an iconic sticker, and if you're into pre-modern, this is one of the leading stickers that you should have, in my opinion. And if you haven't seen my 1990s video, check that out, because other pre-modern stickers are really that are really important, and this one is kind of like one of the biggest ones. So I would, and in this market where prices have been down, again, no investment advice, but these stickers are just amazing. So I would be on the lookout right now, and they're getting pretty reasonable for that. And then here is a Fangio. This is an actual PUM from 1951. You can see Lo Mas Nuevo Figuritas PUM. Again, the backs on the Zidans have to be nice to get those grades. And this Figuritas PUM, which hasn't been graded, is a nice Fangio card, very much in the style of, I thought I had them here, the Popo 1948. It's a little darker. The scan even makes it look darker than it is in person. But those are really, I don't want to say flimsy, but thin. Whereas the PUM cards are on cardboard, but they reuse kind of the graphic. So I think that is all of the 35 cards. So again, to have a look through, you've got these some really cool pre-modern stickers, a couple of F1 cards, some never graded before Fangios, some never graded before Arqueros from the partners that made Crack, a bunch of really cool early pre-1963 Eusebios. We also had some great Plus Ultra cards and a nice Dollar Monte, some other Eusebio Panini stickers, which are pretty dang cool. And we also had, here's more of the Eusebios that I'm crossing into PSA holders. We had a great Maradona 5-card rookie lot with a 1971 Pele disc, which I forecast to be one of the highest graded. And then for my friend submission, we also had these a couple of awesome Plus Ultra, some never graded before Olympia, and some Pele, some Maradona 81 Fulvito cards, which are awesome. So in general, I'll revisit this. Maybe I'll bring back up my this presentation when I get this shipment back, and I'll show the cards maybe on this look. Let's take a look, see if we like this here, like this. Yeah, maybe that's right. I'll get the cards and then I'll show them up here. So was there any questions on that submission? Did anybody agree or not agree with any of the things? I know it's hard. I tried to, instead of going card by card and scanning front and back, I kind of did them as a group, and maybe it's harder to see, but I figured this would be fun, and see how correct or incorrect I am. If there's no questions on those, I can take that slideshow off, and then we can go through this order, which was a value plus order. So let me just double check, see if there's any questions or comments. No. Okie dokie. And I guess if you have any, go ahead and post them. See if I can get this off the screen. All right. Okay, we're even technologically advanced here. So let's get into this second part of the video, which is the small PSA order. On the side here, it says a value plus, which I don't know, value plus, lane 2. It was entered in August 18th. It's due September 18th, and here we are sitting in November. So again, not the best service levels from PSA on this, but I think there were some cards in here that were never graded. So let's see. There's some dreaded things in here. It's a 10-card submission, so not that big. And so this is these are $40 a card, so about double normal, and it included Okay, 8 of the 10 cards had never been graded, so therefore that's why it probably took some time. And there are some. These are some fun cards that again haven't been graded. The very first one, super win here. This is the Barbosa rookie from 1943 Bales Futebol in a 3. Really, really nice. It's hard for you to completely see this with my head in the background, but these are really small stickers and really nice to get a 3 on this. Beautiful, beautiful sticker. And then you've got Antonio Sastre. This one gets a 2 from the same thing. He went off and played in Brazil in the early 40s, so it's really fun to get an Argentine sticker of, a Brazilian sticker of an Argentine playing there. Similarly, there are stickers of Brazilians playing in Argentina, so that's like Domingos Teguia played for Boca. So really fun. 1943 tough album, 1943 Americana, and both of these have completely legible backs, which is awesome. Hello there, soccer cards. I love that 59 diamond blue Pele. I only have the red one, but it's just such an awesome card. Okay, that you have as your icon. So here's the next one. So this is a Jair, and this is a VG3 from the 1956 Americana. And these have points on them, so they were used for prizes. And I find that most of the albums that have points on them are harder to find. So I don't know if Jose Roberto Dines is still here, but he could certainly chime in. He's from Brazil, and he would tell you all about this point system. You could get things for your mom, like a iron and things like that. But Jair is obviously one of the best Brazilians from the 40s and the 50s, and it's really nice to have a clean copy, never stuck, which is really hard. Then we have this Fangio. Looks like my brightness is a little off. Hopefully you guys are seeing this a little better than I am. But here's a Fangio disc. This is from a very common, one of the more common sets, but I love it. It's the Tuno, and this is the automotive, the auto drivers subset of the Tuno cards. I have a number of Tuno cards from the soccer players, but this is the Fangio. Great to always pick up a Fangio from Argentina. That's one of my things that I'm trying to put together the full run of all Fangio cards issued in Argentina, which is kind of a fun side ones. So here's talking here again about the points. Yeah, you can change points for gifts. That's right from the mouth of a Brazilian. And here we also have Djalma Santos in a VG3. Looks really clean, as you hopefully can see. Not stuck. All the letters are perfect. And here is the gosh, I'm having a real hard time getting the camera so you can see it without reflections today. Don't normally have that. But anyway, here is Djalma, probably one of the best fullbacks of all time. Really kind of changed the game. And between him and Milton Santos, was just formidable backline for Brazil in the 50s through the 60s. Then we have this really nice Mario Coluna from 1955, Uneca. These are all blank backs. Again, you can see what I was talking about in this Eusebio. You're going to always see these lines right across them. Maybe you can see this better on the back. You see this line on these Portuguese stickers, how they're folded. But just awesome. This is 1955, 56. So rookie material for Mario Coluna. Love this sticker. So great. Related with him is Jose Aguas, prolific goal scorer. They actually won before Sevilla came to town, the European Cup. What was that, 61? So, Aguas, not a lot of people talk about him, but that is super cool card. And it gets a 1. Again, you can see these creases here. There you can see better. See these creases here from the folding. Yeah, I love that Dajama. Yeah, I think it's so cool. Very different from other ones as well. Other cards. I love how they have like this half body cut. So yeah, this would make a lot of sense. Stickers with 500, like this one has 2 points, so you'll find this one. But if they were a 500 or 1,000 points, you'd have to. This Jair had 5 points, so yeah, stickers with 500 and 1,000 points are of course going to give you way more. Those are going to be really, really hard because those are most likely redeemed. That's a great point, and thanks for making it, Jose Roberto. The next one is another Coluna, and this one I really love. Just as awesome here, Benfica. Super ornate sides here. Again, rookie material type stuff, and just a beautiful large sticker. It goes almost uses the entire PSA slab. Thank God this didn't end up in an oversized slab. So really appreciate the PSA guy who put this one together. This is just great, and it's a 1, but I don't care, right? I mean, I knew this is going to happen. All of these have these creases, and that's part of the joy of collecting Portuguese stickers. You're only going to get PSA 2 as kind of the max. And then on the last couple ones here, we have a 58 Masola, or 56 Masola, who's actually Jose Tanfani, but he was nicknamed Masola after Sandro Masola. No, not after Sandro, after Valentino Masola, because he played similarly and had Italian ancestry. And so he's obviously a great Brazilian player that not a lot of people talk about, and this is a 10-point version. And this is, it's got to be rookie material. He's got a 57, Oliveira and Benassi, obviously a bunch of 58s. But I'm going to, I don't think this is necessarily the rookie, but it's got to be dang close. So here, you're hearing it right from the Brazilians that we got here. Jose Fini. I said Fani, didn't I? So Fini, and then his nickname is Mazzola. So, and I think this is, maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong, since we have a local expert on the line here, if this is his rookie or not, in terms of, is 1956 the first year he appears in albums, or is it earlier? I'm again going from memory, and I'm going to say it's pretty close. If it's not, he only will show up in a 55, but none of that's coming to my memory right now. And then here you see this is a really tough sticker, and these are hard. You've got to actually look at these in person to appreciate them. But usually the actual photography is interesting. You can find photographs, the actual ones they use. Really hard to tell here on this camera. With the naked eye, which is a much better lens, you can clearly make it out. But these are some of the ugliest cards that are out there, but they're also super difficult. So this is a Fangio from 1950, and this is a Gran Película. You can see todos los niños juntan figuritas Gran Película. All the children collect figuritas Gran Película. So I don't know if that was the case. It doesn't seem like it because there aren't that many around anymore. So if all the kids were collecting them, maybe we'd see more. So I think it's just kind of a marketing slogan. I don't think that was actually true. Of course, just joking and jiving here with that. But so yeah, and then here, just this is on Jose Roberto, we're talking about Masola. Yep, he played on the 50, 18, and then 62 for Italy. So again, we pretty cool player. Not a lot of people talk about. I think it's a nice sticker as well. And hope that you enjoyed kind of this Saturday early day discussion on what we expect things to be graded. A nice little return here. Some certainly fun stickers. Some Colunas. Some Brazilian stickers like Sastre and Barbosa, who by the way was the keeper in 1950. One of the best keepers, but unfortunately, because they lost to Uruguay in the final in 1950. Was kind of treated poorly for the rest of his life, but he's still absolutely underrated. And this is his first sticker that I'm aware of. So pretty fun little small submission. We also had some Fangios, and we had a number of really cool 56 stickers out of Brazil, and of course the cool Colunas and Jose Aguas. That is not a name you hear. Go ahead, research him, see if he's of interest, because he is a pretty amazing player, often forgotten in the shadow of Eusebio from the 1960s. He obviously played in the 50s and 60s. So that is what I have for you guys today. Stay tuned. I'm also going to be posting here my top cards from the 2000s, cards and stickers from the 2000s. And have a number of other projects going underway to bring you some YouTube content. And if you got any comments, please let them, please post them in the video. If you haven't joined our Discord server, please do that. Vintage Soccer Card Discord server. It's a great place to learn more about the hobby, ask questions, get clarifications. I'll put that in the description below. And don't forget, if you're hanging with me, please like the video. It doesn't cost you much. Just it doesn't actually cost you nothing. Just click the like button, and if you're not subscribed, subscribe. And let me just check the comments here one last time and see if there's anything that people want to discuss. So here we go. Yeah. So yep. Thank you, Jose Roberto Dines, for sharing your knowledge. That's great. And glad you always seem to be on the lives, which I love. Thank you for your thoughts, and you are welcome, peeps, for that. And then so sure, anybody can you can DM me on Instagram or any other platform. Usually on the Discord's the easiest way to get in touch with me. I'm connected to that pretty much every day. So anyway, hope everybody has a wonderful Saturday. Let me know if you think I'm nuts for cracking out some of those stickers. Let me know if you think I'm off on the grades. Any thoughts are really fun to share in this hobby, and you can put those in the comments below. And we'll see you on the Discord and here on YouTube in further videos. Thanks, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.